Welcome to my Wellness Rewired, Hacking Women's Health. Join Larissa and Malerie as they explore biohacking tips for women based on the latest science and research available today. Let them help you unlock your best self. It's time to hack smarter, not harder, together.
All right, we are here for our second episode on fasting, and today we are going to talk about our 72-hour fast that we are currently in. We are on day 2, and I am dying, so let's just get that out there. But we're also going to talk about the various fasting options that you can do. You can do intermittent fasting, but you can also do alternate day fasting, which is something new and different. Well, it's not new, but it's new to me. And
Right.
it's different. And we're also going to talk about what you eat matters. We're going to talk about how to break a fast if you are doing a long extended fast like we are, how to do it safely to help your body transition the best. And we're going to talk about our least and favorite protocols of fasting throughout our years of experience. And we're also going to talk about how fasting affects different phases of our life. Like if you are trying to conceive, if you are going to menopause and perimenopause and or if you're under chronic stress. So all of those have an effect on your fasting. So we're going to talk about those. And then we're going to dive into the science.
Yep. And then finding the balance with all of our other biohacking protocols, right? So
Which I think is what everyone always asks me. Can you please give me a list on how to do it all? I know that.
right.
I wish I could, because then that means I would be doing all of them.
Well, technically we can make a list, but are we doing them is the question.
Yeah, because they want to know how to time it, how to put it
Yeah.
all together to make it as functional as you can. And that's where it gets interesting.
And I think I agree. I think it's the most fascinating part, right? Is how do you marry them together? Are they going to compound on each other? Are they going to not? And you need to separate them. Like, I love that stuff. So
yeah,
hence why we do this.
Yeah, in the future, though, I definitely think we'll be coming out with basic, like different levels, right? Like if you're biohacking 101 just starting out, you could go here. If you're more advanced, you could go here, because it is definitely different depending on how many years you get into it.
I think so too, for sure. Okay, so 3 days, that's what we're going to make it to. And I think I'm at like 53 hours right now. I'm not dead, guys. So you can go that long without eating.
It's day 2. They told us it was going to be hard. They said that day 2 was going to be the hardest, and they were not lying.
Yeah, all the research suggested. And I was like, what? No way. 2's got to be easier. It is not. So
we can prove that is definitely not the case. Day 2, yeah. I'm like, I was texting you at lunch. I'm dying. I'm so hungry.
Yes. I was literally laying in bed, tired and hungry, being like, I know this is the worst.
Because the protocols tell you to not do a lot of physical activity, that you need to take it easy. You don't want to overstretch your body. Don't work out, And on Gary Brecka's protocol, he did say, he's like, go and put your feet in grass and ground to the earth if you're struggling. And I should have done that if I could have taken the time to do that. But
I wish I would have realized that, because maybe we'll try it tomorrow. Who knows what day 3 is going to be like?
Day 2 was hard. So let's hope that was it. But the benefits are going to be real.
Yes.
We're going into ketosis today.
Is like already, because my hip, I have hip pain. I don't know if it's because I just carry my toddler on the same side all the time, but it legitimately causes me daily pain. And I was telling you earlier today that it was hurting like more than ever this morning. I was like, my hip just hurts. Like I thought that by now it would be feeling better. Well, guess what? As the day has progressed, the pain has gotten less. Which is crazy, because it was super inflamed and irritated. I was like, great, I'm not going to take ibuprofen. That's going to be hard on my stomach. Like, I don't even know if that breaks a fast. So I was like, I'm just going to have to suffer through. And it's like, doesn't even hurt right now, which is crazy.
What other things have you noticed? Because now that we're between 50 and 55 hours, what other things have you noticed?
I definitely am very like wide awake, if that makes sense. Like normally by this time of night, we're like dragging, right? Because we're recording right now in the evening, and we're both like, it's the end of the day, you're exhausted, and I don't feel that way tonight. I feel very energetic. And that's what you were saying this morning, right? Is that you just had a ton of energy.
And yesterday I was good. Like my 36 hours into it, I was like, oh, I got this. I can do this. Zooming around. I
Yeah.
was so productive.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Yesterday I think I was hungry yesterday, but not as
Well,
hungry as today.
I think the reason you had it so hard is so when you go into a fast, first you should be, practicing like smaller fasts, right? Like doing it. And
Right.
then the day before you got to you got to do nutrients dense food, but lighter meals, but more protein and fats. Whereas you were having like,
Such good
sourdough
food.
bread and amazing stuff. So you
Yep.
had the carbs, and which makes it go sugary, and
It's
then
even
it's
worse than that,
harder.
Larissa. It wasn't even the sourdough. We went and got amazing barbecue, like Kansas City barbecue. I had to introduce our other sister to it because I'd never taken her to one, and it was a fantastic time, but I definitely paid for it on this fast.
So that's why your first day, you didn't
Yep.
set it up on day 0. So your first day was more of a struggle because you're just getting over the sugar rush and
Yes.
turning it into the glucose and the insulin.
Yeah,
And
because then we did a
now,
charcuterie board after that, and it was delicious with like chocolate from Italy and like all this crazy stuff. But I will say, if I had done this the way that I wanted to, I would have done a couple of 24-hour fasts, like the week leading up to it, right?
yeah.
1 or 2, and then stick to a pretty good eating window and focus on, like you said, healthier, less processed foods. I should have done it. I don't have any regrets, but I definitely did pay the consequences. So,
Well, I did like getting pictures of your charcuterie board because it looked beautiful.
it was so good.
You didn't send me any pictures of the barbecue. I kind of feel bad, like left out now.
Oh, I should have. We were so
But
hungry. We kind of just inhaled it.
I mean, I get it. But I ate very protein dense food. So coming into the first 36 hours was not even a struggle for me because I set that up really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my
You're
pants are
lucky.
looser.
Oh, yes. Oh, I forgot
I
about
have
those
lost
things.
like 2 point. I weighed myself and I measured all my measurements
Yeah.
before we started. And then I didn't do measurements this morning. I'm kind of bummed. I wish I would have done each day of the fast.
Yeah.
I wanted to do the beginning and the end, but I did lose 2.7 pounds and I lost, and I did, I mean, I don't know how many inches because I didn't measure, but my pants definitely felt looser. Have you
Mhm.
noticed anything like that?
Absolutely. My clothes are all looser. I didn't do any measurements either, but I did weigh myself and I've lost like 6 pounds in 2 days.
Wow.
And I know that a lot of that's water weight, right? Especially
Yes.
given what
Yeah.
I was eating, like the days leading up to, like a lot of water retention from foods that just make you puffy. But still, that's kind of crazy in the space of 48 hours to lose 6
Well,
pounds.
we're just getting ourselves ready for the holidays. Thanksgiving's coming up. Like this fast is
Mhm.
perfect because then you can go into the holidays feeling a little more secure of yourself. Like, okay, I got this. I know I'm going to binge eat, apple
Yeah.
pie and ice cream and just different things. And I might as well get a good start.
Yep, it's so
You feel
true.
good. Start low,
We're,
then start
we're
high.
setting ourselves up for success.
For successful binge eating.
Yeah, exactly.
But actually, the more you fast, it makes you not want to eat as much. So really, we're also double whamming it. Like,
Yeah, it's called appetite correction, which would,
yeah,
on the last episode when we were talking about leptin and ghrelin, your hunger hormones, basically they get out of whack. And when you get them back into balance, it's generally called appetite correction, where your body starts to recognize, hey, I'm full, like I don't need any more. And then you actually hear those cues and listen to them, which is
yeah.
really a nice benefit of intermittent fasting for sure.
And a surprising one that you don't think about.
Yeah, it's like there's so many little things. That's why I was like, we have to cover this in at least 3 episodes, and we're not going to cover everything. We're just going to cover a lot of the things that have been impactful for us that we want to pass along, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about the various fasting options, because this was where I did a ton of research when I first figured it out. I think I started out only at the very beginning doing like 12-hour fasts and then a 12-hour eating window, right? And that's the thing that's so amazing about this is the flexibility, as we have said. So like really consider it a couple of different ways. There's like what they call time restricted eating, which is really a much more manageable day-to-day time that you eat versus like a very extended fast, right? And so those windows would be like you eat for 8 hours, fast for 16, or and then it goes up from there. You you eat for 7 hours, and oh my gosh, my brain is not mathing right now. It's 18:6. Basically, you can, in a 24-hour period, right, you can break it up into a 6-hour eating window, 7, 8, or you can go down and you can do 5, 4, or 3, right? And so like it really, but then once you get too low and you're only having a couple hours worth of an eating window, you're really getting into your longer, like alternate day fasting, which is the other option. And so alternate day fasting is really where you have like up days and down days, and they can have various benefits.
Yeah, that will reset your metabolism when it gets stuck. And, because the whole point of fasting is you really want to shake up your body so it's not being consistent. Because if you're consistent every single day, you eat the same things at the same time, then your metabolism is going to like go on autopilot. So you have to shake it up. And that's what these changing the fasting sessions is what will reset it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a tool in your tool belt, right? That you can, because I started out doing, I pretty quickly moved to 18:6, which I mean was probably one of my favorite eating windows. Was a
Mine too,
6-hour
yeah.
eating window and an 18-hour fast. It just made it so that I could have lunch and dinner, and then still fast for 18 hours, and my body felt great. But there's so many different, there were days that I wanted to be like, the time worked for me to fast longer, then I would fast for 20 hours and only have a 4-hour eating window. And I feel like my sweet spot was probably a 5-hour eating window where it was just kind of helping me restrict the grazing and the snacking, that just tends to sabotage your goals health-wise and weight loss-wise. And really it depends on what you're looking for, because alternate day fasting can achieve greater weight loss because you're just, what is the concept of the alternate day fasting? It's basically you eat normally one day, right? And then you do a long fast the next day. Is the concept like 24 hours? And then a lot of people will do like a small, maybe like 500 calorie meal at the end of that. And then others will just fast through till the next morning. So
yeah,
there's different options that I've heard
flexible. It
about.
depends on what you're looking for. So you just have to figure out what you're really going for. Are you going for autophagy? Are you going for cellular repair? It all depends on what you're doing.
Are you looking for weight loss? Are you looking for
Yes.
longevity, right? And
Yes.
so, whereas like alternate day fasting, those longer fasts between give you a lot more of that longevity benefit, the weight loss benefit, and the autophagy. You're getting into, because I think autophagy starts at a 16-hour fast. Once you went for fasting for 16 hours, it begins to be a process in your body. But it really peaks, I think, at like 24 hours. And so, or 25 hours. It might be you have to get past that 24-hour period. And so it really just depends on what your goals are. There's an option. And then depending on what your schedule's like, there's flexibility. So it's really fantastic as far as longevity goes, but also we used it as a tool for weight loss, because I wouldn't even say weight loss. I wanted that to happen. But for me, I think it was a way to combat the standard American diet. That's really what I feel like it was for, is that I was still trying to figure out what I was eating that was causing such an inflammatory response in my body. And so intermittent fasting was a way for me to feel like I could get that under control and kind of cleanse my digestive system, right? And a lot of people have been known to use intermittent fasting, and some of the benefits have been like people with like gluten sensitivities, food sensitivities in general, and things like that, when they've done extended periods of intermittent fasting, have been able to counteract that and still have those types of foods, because they give their gut and their digestive system a rest. It helps them process sensitive foods better. So it's pretty crazy, the stuff that you find out about fasting.
Well, that's why we need to get the monitor, that we've been talking about. Like what is it called? The blood glucose monitor?
The continuous glucose monitor.
Oh, thank you. We need to get that. And then as we do the fast, we can really fine tune our body and be like, what affects it and what doesn't, what breaks a fast, what doesn't break a fast. Because some people, it might not break it, but then other people it does. Like caffeine for me, like today, I literally took a decaf coffee, because I'm very sensitive to caffeine. And I was so hungry. I was like, I'm going to make a decaf coffee. So I made a decaf coffee. And even though I had a little bit of caffeine in it, I was so jittery and my heart was racing like 90 miles an hour. And I am sensitive to that. So I literally thought inside my head, I hope that coffee didn't just break my fast.
Yeah, it probably didn't, because you didn't get hungry, right? Because a lot of times, like, you get really hungry, and that's how you know that it's like spiked your glucose.
Mallory, I've been hungry
Oh, that's
almost all
true.
day
This
today.
is day two. We've both been hungry all day.
I've been hungry probably from 11 to, I would say 5. Right now, I'm not hungry though. So like I came home and I
Yeah.
had my bubbly water and I had like the hydrogen tablets from Gary Brecka. Like I had those 2 things and now I feel good now. But
Yeah.
earlier, all day today, I was like, ooh, anytime I saw like an apple, I was like, oh, I could eat that. Or some nuts. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I could sneak that in. But I
I went
didn't.
grocery shopping today, Larissa. That was probably a terrible idea.
Yeah, that is a terrible idea. That's
We
like
were
the
out of
worst to
food.
go grocery shopping when you're hungry.
Yeah, but it was like Sam's Club, so I just got our usuals. I was like, just get your staples. Don't think about anything else.
Man, I'm impressed. That would not have been on my bucket list to do today. But I did go grocery
Yeah.
shopping yesterday and
Yeah.
it didn't even faze me.
Yep. I actually did okay. It was harder because I'm really into watching the Halloween Baking Championship right now, which is an awesome show, but they're baking like the most amazing desserts, and that was a
Yeah.
terrible idea. So I watched that while I was
You're
resting.
torturing yourself. That's what this fasting is called for you.
It was
How many ways
torture.
can I torture myself?
Yeah. But it was so entertaining. It was worth it. Okay, totally worth it.
I do love all those baking shows though. They're fun.
Yeah, they are. They're so good, and I'm so hooked on them right now. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, what does and does not break a fast? That's actually a very good question because I've had there's been all the questions, right? Like, can I chew gum? Can I have like a mint, like a sweet mint tea if it's unsweetened? And I think that the rule of thumb has been if it has a sweet profile and just tasting it on your tongue can stimulate a glucose response, right? And so, like, when you think about you have to go give blood for your doctor and they're like, you need to be fasted, that's really the rule you should follow for your fasts. If it would not count for being able to give blood, then it doesn't count for your intermittent fasting. So, I don't chew gum. I do brush my teeth, right? Because it's such a short period of time. You're not exactly eating it. You're just brushing your teeth really quick, even though it's like a sweet mint, right? And then I do avoid mints, the sweet mints, like spearmint and stuff like that.
All that would break your fast.
Yeah. So it's really just like the bitter profiles that don't affect it.
And all the gum that has so much sugar in it, like all of that would break your fast. You really have to be
even
clean.
I was thinking sugar-free gum. So you're right. I should clarify.
Oh.
Yeah, even sugar-free gum does have that risk because it's a sweet mint taste on your tongue that can stimulate your body to think food is coming, right?
Well, it's interesting because in these 3-day protocols, like I was comparing Jen Stevenson to Gary Brecka, and Gary Brecka's I tried to do a year or 2 ago. I don't know, all time kind of gets fuzzy on me, but it was interesting. Like, so I did his 3-day water challenge like 2 years ago, and to where it is now, and he's changed it. So when we first started, then he had us to do, you got to have like like a cup of a bone broth for lunch every day, and you had to drink so much water, and you had to do the perfect amino acids, and then you had to, electrolytes, like his electrolytes. And now when he does his water fasting, it's so much cleaner. There's no electrolytes because it's flavored. His was flavored, and he said it didn't break the fast, but I think that it does. But for some people, it will. So then that's why he says to just do your mineral salt inside your water for your electrolytes. And so that you get electrolytes from that. And then he did add the hydrogen tablets. So that was new, but that won't break your fast because it's bitter, again, a bitter profile. And then the perfect amino acids, they help you build protein. I'm not protein. Protein. Muscles that you need
it's like muscle retention, right?
Yes.
Which can be a problem when you're fasting, as you can lose muscle mass.
So he has you take 2 in the morning, 2 at lunch, and 2 in the evening to help you maintain your muscle mass. So that was interesting. But he has definitely cut out a lot of stuff. Like there's no flavor of anything. It should be very, very like bitter.
I mean, what we've been having has been black coffee and water and sparkling water unflavored. That's one of the things I think I miss the most, especially doing a long fast, is I miss flavors, But I do some of the Baja Gold mineral salt because I get muscle cramps really bad. Again, like with my magnesium deficiency. So I do take magnesium but these are all minerals that are not really, they're things that you could find in water, right? That's not going to break your fast, but you really have to be careful.
Well, that's why you need the monitor to see if the
Yep.
magnesium breaks your fast. I
And
don't think
we
it will
are
because
going
it's a
to,
mineral.
I don't think so either, but we are going to test because we've had this conversation about diet sodas. We're a big Diet Coke house and Diet 7 Up. We drink those like crazy. And some of the new research coming out shows that some people might have a glucose response to those because of the sweetness on their tongue, and some might not. And so I really want us to all try it. I'm going to have my husband try it too, and we're going to see if we have like a glucose like spike from it, right? And so it's going to be an interesting experiment.
Well, it goes back to know your body, own your health. Like it could have been spiking. It could be spiking your kids this whole time, and then you thought it wasn't.
Yep.
Or vice versa. You thought it was, and it's not. So it's nice that, and everybody's different. So you really can't make informed decisions unless you really know your own body, which is where the glucose monitoring helps, because then it really can define you and who you are. And I would also recommend doing it over a series of a couple of weeks, so you can kind of see yourself through the different phases of your cycle throughout the month, because I feel like that might change it. And, but it also,
and I think that I was just hearing a story that somebody used it. I think it was one of our sister's friends had one of the glucose monitors, and stress impacted her glucose responses to things almost more than food. So it's like very interesting stuff that I think we need to research.
And just be aware of, because it is like stress impacts every single biohack that we have covered, or health, tweak or whatever. All of them are impacted by stress. So if you have a very stressful life, like that could definitely change the outcome of your hack.
Yeah, I think, and that's a good place to talk about, honestly, the different life phases, because when we started, we would fast pretty hard. Like I typically fasted between 18 and 20 hours. What did you usually fast?
I started out, first couple of years, I did 20 hours fasting, 4 hours a window. And then after like 2 years, I went to 19.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I went to 19.5 and I stayed there for a long time, 19.5.
Yeah.
And too. Now currently I am doing the 18.6. And that's my favorite.
Whereas I do the 16.8, and I have a longer eating window. But I think it's in relation to stress, because like we talked about, I did the Ways to Well blood tests. They tested my cortisol levels, and whatever markers indicate, what's going on in your body. Basically, they were like, you have like cortisol burnout. Like your body's not even like producing, like it's just bottoming out, which means that you've been overproducing for so long that it's not even functioning correctly anymore. And so one of the first things that the doctor told me to do was like, you intermittent fast, like, okay, you need to back your window off because you're over stressing your body. And so I had so many other stressors going on that they were like, you can't fast that hardcore when your body's already under a lot of stress. You have to back it way off and do it. Like they were even like, do a 16-hour fast, but don't do it every day. Do it a few days a week, and then give your body just the chance to recover. And I did. And when I went back and got tested, my cortisol levels were way better. Like it was way more at the level that it should be. And so between a supplement they had me take and backing off my intermittent fasting, those were really the only two changes I made. And it really helped.
What supplement supported your cortisol?
It's one that's called Cortisol Manager. I can put a link to it in the show notes. It was just one of the supplements they recommended, and it has various like herbs and things that are supposed to help your body like naturally process and manage like normal levels. And I really just from one test to another saw a difference in taking it. But I was also like backing way off of my intermittent fasting, and focusing on a couple other, like stress management things. And so, it was really cool to see.
That's because that's another thing about fasting is like, you really do have to listen to your body, like in anything. It's like, if it is too much for you, listen to it and just take a break. You can always do it another day, and if there's a lot going in your life, it's okay. You could go another day. If it doesn't feel good when you're doing it.
Yes.
It will
like
all be there.
You get to a point where like your body really tells you like you need food, and you have a really stress response, right? Like it's where you get like dizzy and you get weak and you get shaky and your body just gets ravenously hungry to a point that you can't ignore it. Like you really have to like listen to your body, right?
Mhm.
And taking ownership of your own health, it again, like eating disorders, like that's a whole other consideration, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like you really have to be careful and think about your own history and whether this would even work for you. But I think most people, it could be hugely beneficial for longevity purposes and for, compounding with other biohacks even.
Well, even
But
if it's just like if you just narrow your grazing and eating window, like you said earlier, like that,
yes,
like if that alone, if that's all it does is narrow your grazing window, like that is helping your body in so many ways.
yes, exactly. And I feel like that's a big part of why I still do it, even though I'm barely even fasting. Cause like sometimes I'll do like a 10 or even a 12-hour eating window. And I'm like, this doesn't even count, you know?
Because you're used to going so extreme.
Yes. But then I'm like, okay, remember, you're just this, if anything, it's cutting your bad habits down, right? That
Mhm.
it's tempting to do. But also it really can help us sleep because if I'm eating earlier and I'm quitting eating earlier, then I'm not having a big heavy meal right before bed, which affects your sleep cycles, which is huge. And
Yeah.
all the research that we've been doing into the different phases of life for women and just women's health in general is like sleep is so crucial. We don't even understand how crucial it is. And so the way that we're eating could be impacting the way that we're sleeping, which is impacting everything. It's a vicious cycle, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you're not sleeping, none of the hacks will work.
Yeah, your body's not repairing, your brain isn't recuperating.
Yeah.
There's so many things that need to be happening. So you really have to be sleeping, you have to be hydrating, as we've said 100 times. And then you really have to be watching the way that you're eating. And so intermittent fasting really helps with that. But I have found that in my early 30s, when I was like 30, I could do all kinds of things that felt great. And then as my phases of life have changed and my stressors have changed, I've really had to back off how I'm fasting. And I think the same thing applies to different life phases like fertility, right? Like if you're trying to
Oh,
get
yeah.
pregnant, really intense fasting can affect your ovulation phases. And so that can be detrimental. If you're going through perimenopause or menopause, like you're going to be handling fasting differently. And that's where you really have to be your own detective and figure out what works for you, experiment and find, what's going to help.
And
So,
what feels the best.
yes, what feels the
Yeah.
best for
Yeah.
sure.
I agree. And it is, I think it's hard for us to slow down in our busy lives to really listen. And so this kind of forces you to slow down and be like, what is my body telling me?
Yeah. Yep. Like it's something that you focus on, but also focusing on it is worth your time because just the longevity implications are crazy. Let alone, look at this.
Yeah.
I wrote down a whole bunch of facts. So,
Okay.
cancer
Give them to
risk,
us.
yes, cancer risk reduction. Preliminary studies suggest intermittent fasting may lower cancer risk by reducing oxidative stress, enhancing DNA repair, and inhibiting tumor growth through autophagy. So,
Oh,
that's
wow.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is crazy.
Which that's the first thing that I've heard with the newest science that's coming out. So if you get cancer, these fasts can like starve the cancer, right?
Well, it could be medicine, basically.
Yeah.
It helps your body like get what it needs to fight the cancer.
Yeah. And that's not in lieu of therapy and treatment. It's in
Addition
conjunction
to.
with.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Hormonal balance. Intermittent fasting can regulate hormones like growth hormone and norepinephrine. I got it this time because I wrote it down. Which increase during fasting. Elevated growth hormone supports fat metabolism and muscle preservation, which I thought that was interesting, while the norepinephrine boosts alertness and energy expenditure. So
Mm.
that's kind of cool. Those are just two examples. Better sleep quality, like we talked about. Intermittent fasting can align better with your circadian rhythm, improving sleep quality, especially when you're fasting in a way that avoids late night meals, because that's really what you want to avoid is eating late at night. It's
Mhm.
almost worth fasting till the next morning so that you get better sleep, right? And then the last one I wrote down that I thought was interesting was improved skin health. Intermittent fasting may reduce acne and other skin issues by lowering insulin levels and inflammation, which can exacerbate conditions like acne and psoriasis, even. So, autophagy during fasting also clears damaged skin cells, promoting a clearer complexion. So, that was a big one for me, is I just wanted to have like more like young, youthful, glowing skin from the autophagy, right?
Well, let's see. We should have taken before and after pictures.
Oh, I know. I know, but that's a long fast. Even just these shorter time restricted eating windows can give these kinds of benefits, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so it just adds up over time that you're building all these benefits into your body, and over time you're just going to feel better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one that I do like about the shorter fasts, the intermittent fasting on the daily, because then it helps you on a regular basis. So it's not like this 3-day fast, the 72-hour fast is like a whole new world. It's a whole different type of fasting.
Yep, which we will talk about on our next episode, because it's a whole other thing. Our goals are different with this fast than it has been for the last 5 or 6 years, right? Where we have had we've just had different goals. They just are two different things. This was a bucket list item that we wanted to try for other health benefits. So, but the other thing that I found interesting while we were doing all this research, kind of brushing up on intermittent fasting and newer science, was the whole concept of like going through your life phases. We really do need to listen to our bodies and be gentler on ourselves, right? But also finding the balance with some of our other biohack protocols, right? Because I'm a frequent sauna user, frequent cold plunger, like red light therapy, working out, like weightlifting, high intensity interval training. There's so many other things that we do. And interestingly enough, intermittent fasting pairs really well with these. The key is that they say that if you're doing intermittent fasting, then cold plunging during your fasting window is actually more beneficial. Those two things pair together very well. And the same with sauna. You do it during your fasting window, not during your eating window, and you will compound effects between the two, which I thought was very interesting. Yeah, I would have thought that would have been the opposite, but they say to do it while you're fasting.
Me too, which makes it even better, because then it's another thing to distract you when you're fasting.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing to avoid is to overstress your body. So you do need to consider where you are in your phase. If you're more sensitive to stress, like in your luteal phase or on your period week, right, then maybe don't pair them together at those times, right? Avoid doing them at the same time, just because you want to avoid overstressing your body. So you really have to see what you feel like. If you can do it during your fasting window, that's the optimal time to do it. But if you don't feel up to it, maybe alternate. Don't cold plunge and sauna in the same day and fast during that window, because that might be 3 things together is too much stress, right?
Yeah.
And then I think as far as exercise goes, really combining exercise with fasting, they say that it's great. The science really says that you can kind of go either way, but they do recommend pairing your exercise close to your eating window. Even if you're working out fasted, like still put it close to when you're going to eat, just for refeeding and muscle building purposes. So
yeah, when I started fasting, I did not do that, but I was still able to work out. I was fine for me, but I was also younger. But I had energy, so it's not like I didn't have enough energy to work out. Like, I still felt really great. But it would be interesting if I could really know all the science in my body about how it helped with my muscle mass. Like, if it would have been better if you eat and then work out versus eating fasted. But I was great. Like, when we were running, I was fasting during those years, and I would go on big old long runs and not even think about it.
Yeah, I ran 2 half marathons fasted. Like, a lot of people have their little hydration or their refuel packets and stuff. I literally just had a little container of Himalayan pink salt. And just every once in a while, if I was just feeling a little bit off, I just would lick the salt. And then I would have water. I had a little water and I had my Himalayan salt, and that was all. And I ran 2 half marathons in the same month. And then I also trained all of my training for 3 or 4 months leading up to the races. I did them all fasted. I never did them on a full stomach.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I felt great. They were both great experiences. I had no negative experiences. I mean, it was only the half marathon. It wasn't a full. I do not want to do a full marathon ever.
I also don't want to do a full marathon.
26 miles? No way. All of you ladies out there that run those, I am so happy and proud of you. I will never be one of those people.
Well, our dad ran several marathons, full marathons. And so he did it for our family.
I don't know. Man, I'm so impressed by all those people, including our dad. So,
well, we are on day 2 of a 72-hour fast. I was fasting way longer than I ever thought that I would ever be able to. So,
same.
Never say never is what the point of that is, Malerie.
Yes. And I never thought I would do a half marathon. So that was a major achievement for me. It was very cool. So, But anyway, the point being, you listen to our body. I felt great. If I had needed to eat, I would have, right? And so it's really just about being in tune with yourself and listening to yourself and just paying attention to where your phase of life is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Questions from the community. Are you ready for some?
yes, that sounds great.
All right. So our first question is, why is day 2 the hardest in a 36 to 48 hour fast?
Okay,
It's hard. It is the hardest for sure.
It really is. Yeah, it is. It's because our body runs on glycogen. Typically, that we have glycogen stores that helps us produce energy. That's what our body uses. And once we start approaching that second day of a fast, our body is depleting our glycogen stores. And this can also happen when you're time restricted eating, right? Over time, you start to deplete them, but it's just in a much more gradual way. You have eating windows in between, and it happens slowly over time. When you're doing a longer fast and you get to your day 2, like you're just straight up depleting that. And what has to happen is your body has to switch from using glycogen for energy to using fat for energy. So it has to switch over, and that can be an uncomfortable time in your body.
I vouch for that.
Right. Yes, like especially with our peasant genes, as I have said before, where they're like, no, we're holding on to that glycogen, we're holding on to that fat, we're not letting it go. And so then the process of switching over is actually pretty miserable. Let's be real. So that is why it's the hardest day. Apparently, day 3 is supposed to be a little better. We will find out. The tips are hydrate and rest on day 2. So if you decide to do the same journey as us, that is our advice.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Next question.
Second question is 36 to 48 hour fasting safe for women with PCOS or menopause?
Yes, it is. It has to be closely monitored though, right? Because it's going to improve insulin, but you really have to start slow and, pay attention to your body but I feel like that's the way that you need to start fasting anyway. So
and you should never start out with a 3-day fast. You really should start out with like a regular, like it could be a 12-hour fast and then go to 24, you know what I mean? And then 36, like you
like
really
build
should
up. Yes.
Yeah, build up that muscle in your body or that mind.
Like we were really treating this as our Masogi this year, right? Like where we had a chance of failing and we wanted to see if we could make it. So I did kind of just jump into this, but I also have been fasting for 5 or 6 years. So
you've been fasting for like 7 years.
Probably. I don't know what year is it. I don't know.
2018. Is that what you said?
Yesterday? Yeah, it's been 7 years.
Yeah. So we've definitely been fasting enough years now that
we could do something more extreme, right?
Yeah. Yes. We were ready to move on to the next level, but that's not how we started at all.
No way. And I never would have considered doing this before now. So
I agree. I didn't even think about it. And when you said that, I was like, what? Are we really going to do that? But then when you said the Masogi, then I was like, okay, I can do hard things. I will try it because why not? We only live once. I have all sorts of side effects that as I get older that I didn't know that I even thought I would ever have. So it's like, why not?
It's so true. Okay. How do I handle social eating during extended fasts?
I would publicize it to the world that you are doing a fast so that everybody knows it. Like, don't hide it. Don't make it a secret. Well, I guess you could if you're an introvert, but I really would like tell everybody so everybody can be your cheerleader. Like you want them to be your cheerleader, like support me. I'm doing this. Like I'm doing it for these health benefits. And then you can list it to them. And then who knows, people, you could ask people if they want to join you. Like, do you want to join me? Because then you have partnerships or cheerleaders, it helps get through it. For example, like with you and I with this 3-day fast, it's been really fun to text you, I'm dying. Can you
commiserate
give me some
together?
Morale? Yeah.
And we scheduled this well in advance. We scheduled this like 4 to 6 weeks ahead of time. So we were like clearing our schedule to make time for this without a lot of demands being made on us.
Yeah, because we didn't know what it was going to be like. So we definitely made sure that there was like an easy transition. If we wanted to take a nap, we could or whatever, except for after work. But I mean, on for the weekend. So it was very well scheduled for sure. But I would just definitely tell everybody and get everybody on your side and who knows, you might have that help them in their health journey as well, because then they could join you and then you guys could do it together and it's fun.
Yep, that's true.
Anything is better when you do it together with somebody.
Yep, accountability. And support.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's true. But tomorrow we're going to be recording the next episode, which will be a week later for you guys who are listening. But we will have closed our fasting window and have opened our eating window at the end of a 72-hour fast for other health benefits. So we will let you guys know how that went, overall, what our feel was, and whether we recommend it.
Yeah.
To
and
anyone
how
else.
to end it. And how to really end a fast.
How to end it, and all the
fast.
science behind long fasts. And they're very different than intermittent fasting. The goal is different. So anyway, we'll dive into that. I'm very excited. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we make it. We make it to 72 hours.
Well, we've made it this far. I'm really proud of us, but it's going to be a long day tomorrow.
It's going to be a long day, but we're going for it. So we'll stay tuned. We'll be in touch. I think that's it. Have a good night. All right, you wellness rock stars. That's a wrap on this episode of My Wellness Rewired, Hacking Women's Health. We've had a blast dishing out the hacks and laughs, but hold up, let's keep it real.
Yep, we are not doctors. We are just sharing our biohacking adventures and learning right alongside you. Nothing we say is medical advice, so always, always check with your healthcare provider before trying any new wellness tricks.
Absolutely. This podcast is all about inspiration and entertainment, not prescriptions. So join our Facebook group for more sassy wellness vibes. Catch you next time.